and welcome to today's segment of The Power of Money. I'm your host, Michelle Graves, internationally known as the Money Lady. And as always, I'm delighted to be in your world, and thank you for being a part of my world for the next hour as we bring to you information that will enable you to make the best decisions available today. And my topic today is going to be, how safe is your water? And we're going to cross into the world of water because water is truly the most precious commodity that we have on the earth today. Most of our body is water, and most of us, truthfully, are doing our best to try to drink enough water so that we can be healthy. Now, the challenge today is my water safe? There's so much out here today. People are buying bottled water. People are drinking soda and pop thinking they meet their water requirements. So rather than me trying to be the expert, because trust me, this is not an area that I was familiar with, but I'm getting a whole lot better. I thought I would introduce and bring onto my show today one of the nation's top experts on water, and that is Tomas Englehart and his associate, Jasna, as well. And they are going to talk to you about water, some of the myths, misconceptions, and assumptions about what is good water, and begin to dispel some of your myths and hopefully empower you to make, again, wise decisions about what you put in your stomach and in your body. So without further ado, I am going to introduce my two guests who will be talking about this subject for the next hour, and join in. How are you today?
Great, Michelle. Thank you for having us.
And Jasna, how are you?
Good, great. How are you?
Thank you. Where do we want to begin with this topic?
Well, there are quite a few places to begin, but I think one of the best ways to begin is with a demonstration of what water is beneficial for the body. And I think what that has three properties that we've learned.
Okay.
And those three properties are alkalinity.
Alkalinity. Now, what is that?
Okay, so alkalinity, the pH scale, or potential hydrogen in water, is from 0 to 14, and 7 being neutral. When we're born as babies at 7.365, slightly alkaline.
Okay.
As we age, however, we start to get a little bit more acidic with all the liquids, all the food, processed foods, things like that. So unless you're eating a high alkaline diet that is focused on leafy greens, high citrus, then you're going to have a harder time alkalinizing your body. So that's the first property. The second property is antioxidants. And antioxidants are very important. We're hearing a lot of that on the news.
Yes.
And so with antioxidants, those free electrons, those giver electrons to fill in the gaps where the free radicals are, is very important. So anything that has a antioxidant is going to be very, very beneficial for the body in cleansing the body of those free radicals.
Okay.
And then also the third property of the water is that it is a smaller structuralized or microclustered water. Now what that means is that when it's more structuralized and microclustered, when the H2O or OH negative molecules, in this case, bond together in clusters, rather than bonding in usual clusters of 12 to 14 clusters, this water would be bonding in clusters of 5 to 6.
So what does that mean, though?
So basically, there were a couple scientists that won Nobel Prizes in 2006. I'm not recalling their names at the moment, but I can get those for you. But basically what they said was they found that there are what's called aquaporins, and they won Nobel Prizes for this.
Okay.
And with the aquaporins, that it is a hexagonal shape that goes into through the cellular membrane, which is then lined with proteins, which with that same hexagonal shape, if this water cluster is hexagonal in shape, it more is aptly absorbed through the cell membrane.
Okay, so let me kind of restate for my viewers who are not scientists and specialists in this field. Essentially, good water, as I'm hearing you say, needs to be alkaline
Yes, ma'am.
because we are born more alkaline.
Yes.
And because of the food that we eat, it actually changes our tummies into a more acidic environment, which is counterproductive for our body. And also we want a water that has antioxidants that will help to destroy the free radicals in our body that actually precipitate cancer. And then finally, we want water that has a hexagonal shape. Because according to these two scientists, the cells absorb this type of water better, which allows them to thrive versus get sick. Is that a pretty good summary for my viewers?
Yeah, that's a fantastic summary.
Okay, is that good? Okay, because I want to make sure that people understand this because it's that important.
Yes, ma'am.
Americans are spending billions of dollars,
Unfortunately.
and I was one of them.
I was also one of them.
You know, that's just the truth.
Yep.
And but I don't do that anymore because the
nor
truth
I.
will make you free. It will. It'll
does set
open
you
up
free.
your eyes. Okay, well, let us continue.
So basically, when you have those three properties of water or any liquid,
Okay.
what you have is this comes naturally in some places around the world in nature.
Okay.
For example, the earth is charged. It has a charge. It's electric. So when the water is flowing from the mountains down the stream, basically the earth is charging that water. Not only is it charging that water, as it crashes over the rocks, it gets oxygenated, thus giving it those antioxidants, the negative charge and the more oxygen. It breaks down the clusters of that water, and then once it gets to the bottom, then before it becomes stagnant in stagnant pools, it's moving, it's alive. And so
Full of all that oxygen.
Yes,
from
yes.
the air.
You want oxygen. Our blood needs oxygen so that the blood does not coagulate. So in this sense, we need that oxygen to survive, just like we breathe it in.
Yes.
So when we have an abundance of oxygen, our body is optimally working in our benefit.
Okay, that's
Cellular
good.
activity is at its highest.
Okay. Do you have something to contribute to that, Jasna?
So far, so good.
Okay, that's good. Okay, well, let us continue. So the body needs that oxygen. So water has historically, when it comes down through the mountains and it's contact with the air, clean air, then
Clean air, yeah.
it would become supercharged.
Correct.
Okay, so
Correct.
continue. Okay.
So, unfortunately, on the flip side of that, we have a lot of streams and mountain streams and rivers and such that are gaining pollutants. Okay?
Yes.
So what the pollutants do is they also attribute to more acidity in the water. We're flushing more things down the toilet, and we're putting more things in our sink. So the water supply is becoming more contaminated.
In fact, there was an article they just pubbed on water. They just had a global day for water. And they were talking about over half of our tributaries are now polluted.
Yes.
And the fish were not alive. And I just said, this is just terrible.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, Michelle.
Yeah, it is. So continue about this water.
So basically, when they put it through a process of cleansing it, right, purifying it to bring it to your tap,
Yes.
they have to, it undergoes so many different things, and it also sits. It sits in pipes and collects things.
And the pipes are not clean.
Unfortunately, we live in an 1860s building, and we have lead pipes. Anywhere before 1986, you have lead pipes. Well, not everyone, but most people.
Most people have lead pipes.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so, that's a heavy metal, and when that gets into the body, it can do damage. It was one of those contaminants that I was referring to.
Okay.
So, heavy metals, aluminum, lead, cadmium, all these different metals. Arsenic. A lot of these things are unfortunately in our water supply. And in order to take some of these things out, you need a micro filter that is so small. And quite frankly, Michelle, most people are not filtering their water enough. I mean, some people are getting whole house systems. They're learning. You know, that's the first step.
Okay.
You know, then on top of that, you want to add other things that can make this alkaline, antioxidant, and structuralized water. But you know, to get the health benefits.
Okay.
But the water starts off coming out of your tap as a larger molecule cluster, as a acidic cluster.
Because of all of the heavy metals.
Right.
And also pharmaceuticals, pills that won't break down.
That's correct.
Lead, all of these things.
The tap water is also government regulated, so they do add lye into the water, LYE, which helps.
Sodium hydroxide.
Yes, it helps raise the alkalinity of the water so that it does not rust the pipes, the city pipes.
Yes.
But that is not very good to drink at all, so it needs to
No.
be filtered. So
Lye is not good to drink.
absolutely not.
Right. Right. One drop on the tongue would actually kill us.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Sodium hydroxide is real intense.
And also with bottled water these days, people don't realize that once a bottled water is packaged, it takes about 1 to 3 years for that bottle to get to the consumer. By then, that bottled water is old and is acidic, and therefore it is just not what we should be drinking.
So why does it take so long for bottled water to get from production to sale?
Well, I would think that they first produce it and then then they sell it, and then by the time it gets to the consumer and then it sits in the warehouse, and then by the time it's sold, it does take that long to.
That is absolutely amazing.
Yes.
1 to 3 years of water. And of course, bottled water is packaged in plastic.
Unfortunately, yes.
And plastic does leach.
Yes.
BPAs, bisphenol A's,
yes,
dioxins,
yeah.
all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And a very interesting article that I just saw was that some of the big bottled water companies, they actually just package their tap water into bottles. They don't even filter it before it gets packaged and sold to the consumer. So literally they're just selling you the
Tap water.
tap water.
Don't we just love it?
Yes.
I tell you, this almighty dollar. It's amazing.
Anything for $1 sometimes,
Anything
right?
for $1. Anything for $1. That's very good information.
Yes.
And I think because I was a bottled water drinker, I mean, seriously, I had case lots
Yes.
stacked
Yes.
because I was terrified that our water was going to be contaminated after 9/11.
Yes.
And so I started accumulating large quantities of water because I was like, well, you know, if you got these people blowing up stuff, the first thing they're going to want to do is poison our water system. Of course, how did I know that they didn't have to poison our water system?
It was already
It
poisoned.
was already poisoned.
Yes.
That's called the light bulb goes off.
And another amazing thing that no one ever thinks about, most people do buy bottled water, but then they still cook with tap water.
I see,
And
yeah.
that is how I was getting lead poisoning for a whole year, and my doctors couldn't figure out what it was.
So you actually had lead poisoning?
Yes. We had a regular filter
Yes.
to pre-filter the tap water, but that wasn't enough. That kind of filter was not filtering the lead.
Oh.
And so we kept cooking with that water, thinking, well, we're filtering it, and it wasn't good enough, so our food was contaminated. And me being allergic to lead, I was showing signs of rash on my body. Yes.
My God. I wonder how many people are being poisoned.
And they don't know it.
Good
and they
question.
don't, and using filters, because
Yeah.
you go to the store and you screw those little things in and
Get
you
a
think
Brita.
they work, a Brita and others, you know, you screw them in and you figure I'm safe. I know in my situation, I just boil water at high temperature.
Right.
Before I don't touch any tap anything, because again, because of my background as a scientist, I am not going to subject myself to that. But I know that's not good enough. I'm realistic, and I think a lot of people are probably, this is all powerful information that you're telling us, that the
Right.
bottled water is not what it's purported to be. The marketing
Unfortunately.
machine pushed it to the benefit of the manufacturers, but it hasn't benefited the consumer. And then the tap water is scary. So many people throw up their hands in frustration, kind of like food, and say, well, where am I going to go with this? I can't, what am I going to do? So you're the solution, people. So
that's what we do.
That's what you do.
We educate people on water because we think that it's, well, we know, we don't think that it is the most important, other than air and food. Water is the second most important thing that we need for our body. First is air. If we don't have a breath in 2 minutes, then we're done. Water within 3 days, plus or minus.
We're done.
30 days for food. So with water, that's why it is so very important. It's the foundation of everything. And that's also why, you know, I just, in thinking, in retrospect about this, and how they've been able to bottle water and sell it back to us is just
it's amazing.
Unbeknownst to me.
It's amazing.
I'm like, wow, they have marketed us.
But it's the fear
essential
factor.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to voluntarily comply with things that are going to kill us.
Right.
So if you can market that, which is you need clean water, well, what does that mean?
Right.
Does it mean the water I'm drinking is not clean? They're like, bingo, drink my water. And then she tells me it's just tap water.
Right, some of it is.
Some of it is just simply tap water,
Yep.
which is the same problems with the acidity.
Yep.
And this is especially of concern to me, Mr. Englehart, because those of us that have eczema, Crohn's disease, rosacea, hay fever, asthma, all these issues with our autoimmune system, we can't have stuff that turns acidy.
Yeah.
It causes havoc in our systems.
It's an imbalance.
It is absolutely, and it's very sensitive because I do have eczema. It's a hereditary. There's no cure. Obviously, I don't show indications because I'm brutal about keeping my tummy alkaline and using things that don't make me sick.
Yes.
So this is very illuminating.
Yeah.
It really is. So continue.
Well, once you have something like that, unfortunately, you know, it's not too, well, fortunately, it's not too late.
Okay.
But, you know, fortunately, most people don't know what they even have. So they go to the doctor and they're saying, well, what is this?
Right.
You know, what do I have? And unfortunately, in most cases, they get a cream, they get a this, they get a that. Well, you know, what's in that cream? What's in that liquid that they're drinking? What's in the food that they're eating? Right? Because that feeds what's inside of our body, right?
I absolutely believe everything starts with your gut anyway.
It does.
Your tummy.
Yeah.
Yes.
What comes in, it
Yeah.
all starts there.
It's those enzymes.
It's those enzymes.
Yes.
Or the lack, in my case, of the lack of enzymes.
Right. So
that
you
causes those eruptions.
Yeah, you want to try to have more, and,
Yes, I
you
do.
know, that's why, you know, probiotics, you know,
Yes.
people are taking, but not nutraceutical probiotics, but real, true, cultured probiotics.
I agree.
And,
I totally
and high
agree.
culture.
Right.
So we're
This is
born with a
great.
certain amount. Yeah, we're born with a certain amount of enzymes, but then adding to that is what you really want to do. And so having that alkaline gut, which helps promote that that gut that's
Right.
perfect and beautiful, you know, and
Right.
healthy.
And again, we do have to remember that our stomach always stays acidic. So I know that there's a lot of, you know, some people get confused about, you know, well, my stomach should be acidic in order to process the food.
Hydrochloric acid
Yes.
is real.
But it's the way the water, when it goes through our body, what it does for digestion and things like that, just trying to explain so that someone doesn't get confused.
Right.
And
right.
our body can, this water, our microclustered water, it actually gets into our body before it goes into the stomach through the lining of the walls of our lining of our stomach.
Yes.
So as long as we're drinking it the proper way, this water will be absorbed before it reaches the stomach.
That is powerful.
Yes.
That is very, very powerful. So water that is alkaline would permeate the membranes of your tummy.
Microclustered water.
Okay, the
That's
micro
structuralized water.
cluster, those hydrocarbon
Yes.
Yes.
Structures. That's right.
would pierce through the membrane more efficiently
Yes.
and bypass that digestive process.
Well,
Exactly.
plus, in addition to that, actually what most people don't know, and this is another great fact that will save you lots of digestion issues in the future, is that we're really not supposed to drink while we eat, because the hydrochloric acid is released only when the food is, enters the stomach. Okay, so then it's released. The body's very smart. So what it does is it says, well, there's nothing in my stomach right now. I don't need to put hydrochloric acid in yet, because otherwise we would be tummy aches and we would be bent over.
Right, exactly.
But once you eat, then the hydrochloric acid is released. So if you're drinking while you eat, you're interfering with that, the breaking down of the food in the digestive process.
That is so very powerful, what you just said. We should not drink and eat food at the same time.
Correct.
Because it confuses the gut.
Yes.
And you will have problems, bloating
ma'am.
and other things as well that come to that. That's important. That is very important. That
And
is
they
important.
they recommend to drink water prior to eating, half an hour to an hour before, and after food, half an hour to an hour after eating.
Okay, so you drink water an hour
Preferably.
before, an hour, well, a half an hour to an hour
Yes.
before you eat food.
Yes.
Yes. Enough water.
Enough water.
Yes.
And what would you define as enough?
Well, I would say probably if you're drinking water
Yes.
throughout the day, you're going to want, before breakfast, you're going to want about 2 glasses.
Okay,
After breakfast,
2 8-ounces?
Yeah, 2 8-ounces.
Okay.
You typically want about half your body weight in ounces per
Okay,
day.
okay.
So I weigh 160, so half of that,
80
ounces
Okay, of
is what I
water.
need of water per day.
So that's 10 glasses?
That's 10 glasses.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
8 to 10 glasses is pretty typical for most
Okay.
people. So, before you eat in the morning, 2 glasses as soon as you wake up of really good water. Then you eat, give yourself some time, then eat. Then, and this takes training, okay? This isn't going to happen overnight for you,
Yeah, but I think this is good information
Yes,
because
yes.
people don't know
That's
that.
correct. That's
and
correct.
once they know, they can order their decisions accordingly.
Right, and
Okay.
it takes time. So it'll take you about 30 days of doing this over and over again. Don't get frustrated to, get yourself, in line with it. And you'll slip up, and don't worry about it. But 2 glasses in the morning before you eat. After you eat, another 2 glasses. Lunchtime will come around. Before lunch, another couple of glasses. After lunch, a couple of glasses. Before dinner, a couple of glasses.
And you will
After
have
dinner.
met your 10.
You have met it.
Exactly.
It's so
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
Very easy.
So easy.
Because a lot of people don't like water.
That's correct.
And
But why don't they like
why
water?
don't they like water?
Because it's larger and it makes us bloated, and we're also drinking it in the wrong times, and all of these
If
things.
they're drinking tap water, it doesn't taste good because they're tasting the chlorine and
And
other
bottled water.
chemicals in it, and it has sometimes a funny smell. And even bottled water, a lot of people, they say they have metallic taste to it.
That
Yes.
was my challenge. Some of the better known bottled waters, I couldn't consume them because I
Yes.
could smell
Oh, yeah.
the chlorine.
Yes.
And I was confused actually, because I was saying to myself, if this is spring water, why does it smell like chlorine?
Right?
And your body's like, don't be stupid.
Right.
Stupid.
Yeah.
This is not spring water. And I wouldn't drink it. I just wouldn't drink it because it I don't care what the label said.
Right.
My body does not lie.
No.
And I smelt that metal and I didn't like it. I didn't, and I wouldn't drink it. So I
Yes.
kind of feel that a lot of people don't like water because they have not ever experienced good water
This is true.
or pure water
This is
or
very true.
non-metallic water. So continue. This is good.
Yeah, I mean, usually water, what do? We take it for granted,
Yes.
but good water, okay? And also, because we don't have a litmus test, a comparison of what is good water, because we haven't really, quite frankly, had good water since, even maybe before the 70s, or I don't know how long, probably before the Industrial Revolution. But really what we're looking at here is that we have, now that we're finding better ways to filter water and ionize water and make it more healthy. we have to take advantage of that. We have to
Okay.
try that. We have to open ourselves up to trying new things.
Okay.
And say, well, okay, yeah, this tastes like water. Water is water. But I encourage people, I in fact most times suggest, well, you wouldn't drink out of the Ohio River, would you? You know, how about the bayou? How about the Rocky Mountains? Which one sounds better to you? In my opinion, it's the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah,
okay, because
something
that's
about those mountains.
correct. There's
Yeah.
something about mountain springs and mountain water, and that's
Yeah.
what they sell us. But unfortunately, when it comes down to it, where the source of that water is questionable. So, you know, yeah. So
you know,
leaves us with our hands in the air.
I want you, because time is moving along very quickly, and I really want to get into this demonstration that you've so graciously agreed to do for my viewers and for
Absolutely.
myself as well about water and how to understand what works and what doesn't work. Are you ready to do that?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay,
I'd love
well,
to show you.
let's do this.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay, viewers, we're going to have an opportunity to do a little bit of instruction here. If you'll
Okay,
just-
so what we're going to start out with is this is an ionizer.
Okay.
This is a Japanese licensed medical device by their government. It hooks up to your tap and it just simply splits the water, as I had mentioned before, creating the antioxidants and that structuralized water that we were talking about. So it comes in as H2O and it leaves as one line as OH negative and out the other line as H positive. Now that's the more scientific approach,
Okay.
but this is the water, the alkaline water that we're going to be wanting to drink. But what we have today is we have just a little array.
And that's in Japan. That's what they're using.
This is what they're using in 65% of their hospitals. The original application for electrolysis in these machines were used in hospitals because it creates a low acidic 2.5 that's 99.9% antibacterial. However, they also use them in the homes because they have found that it balances the body and strengthens the immune system.
Okay, got
so
it.
They have about 300
Well, I like
to
that
400,000
medical thing.
homes. Yes,
Yeah, I do.
it's definitely great.
And
So
the Japanese do live longer.
they are number one in the world, and unfortunately we're about number 49. And
I just believe that.
So yeah, it's unfortunate how much money we spend in healthcare. In fact, we spend as much as the top 15 countries in the world in healthcare, and so Japan sits at number one. So we'll focus on the positive and the good,
Okay.
and how great the Japanese are doing with technology and
living long.
and living long, healthy
Because their
lives.
water is
Correct.
good.
Not just living longer, because a lot of people would say, "Oh, we're living longer too," but I would probably challenge them on that because we are living longer, but we're living longer sicker.
Yeah.
So we want to live longer, more healthy, and,
I agree.
and more able
I
to do
agree.
the things that we want to do, be with
Okay.
our children. So
Okay.
I'll start off here. What we're going to do is we're going to do a simple demonstration. First, I'm going to show the antioxidants in liquids, and this is simple. What this is this is an oxidation reduction potential meter. It measures millivolts. Okay, so that electricity, like I was talking about earlier, that comes naturally from the earth. So if it's a positive number, and it's probably going to be hard for the cameras to pick up, but if it's a positive, so I'll read it, if it's a positive, it means it's oxidizing, it's aging, it's rusting our body. Okay? If it's a negative, it means it has those antioxidants,
Yes.
those negative ions in it, the free electrons, the giver electrons to scavenge free radicals. Okay, so I'll begin. We'll start off with soda. A lot of people drink sodas, and we're looking at about 380. So obviously 0 being in the middle, and then from there, green tea is about -50.
Now 380, is that a positive?
Yes, 380.
that's
This is a
acidic.
positive. So
Okay.
what we'll do is we'll go ahead and show this here. We have green tea at -100, actually, is what it was. Vitamin C -50. We all know how important vitamin C and how good vitamin C is for us. Then you have cod liver oil out there, and then you have Kangen water out in the far end. Usually bottled water, sodas, tap waters, purified waters, RO waters are all going to be oxidizing and aging the body, which we don't want to have happen. So we have soda. It landed about 355. I'll go through these a little bit quicker. Gatorade, most people think that Gatorade, sports drinks, athletic energy drinks are good for us. Unfortunately, I would also have to disagree. When you measure them, this one's about 340. Now, these are all going to be very similar. So unfortunately, these things are doing the opposite of what they're marketing. They could say anything with liquids.
They do say anything.
They do say anything and everything,
Yes.
as long as they don't make claims.
Right.
So, you know, health claims, which they're not. They're just saying you'll live a greater life, it'll be happy, healthy, etc. You know, just in general. They generally speak. So that's about 350 as well. Perrier is going to be also similar. It's going to be probably around, yeah, like 310, 312. It also is carbonated. Anything with carbonation in it is going to do harm to your body. So we're looking at about, it landed about 300 for Perrier. So that's still positive. That's very oxidizing. That's very aging when you're thinking of it in
That's
what
so
I'll show you.
amazing.
So then we have, let's see, what do we got? Propel here. Now Propel, the interesting thing is actually this one goes the next step and says we have antioxidants on the label.
Okay.
Which if it was antioxidants, this would read a negative, which this reads about 283. So that's positive 283. So it's actually it's actually aging our body versus anti-aging our body. Okay. And we're going to go to Aquafina. This is just a water. This is going to be in the 1 to 200 range. Right now, still positive, oxidizing, and aging. Dasani, it should be about the same thing.
What is that reading?
It's actually a little bit higher. It's at 230.
I have to believe that.
230. So
That's that
229,
chlorine
230.
smelling
Yep.
stuff.
That's right. Yeah, that was, I drank that one time and I
can't do
couldn't
it.
do that again. Very metallic, didn't like it. This is tap water. This is going to be oxidizing and aging as well.
What's the read on the tap water?
It is 300, 301 and
my
going
God.
up. So it
Okay.
is, and actually we've measured Chicago, we've measured many metropolitan area waters, tap waters, and they're all going to be 300, some are 500. Chicago is 500.
Oh, God.
Very, very oxidizing and aging for you.
Children drinking that.
Unfortunately, cooking with it,
Yes.
all these things, not to mention all the pharmaceuticals and things that are in it. So, you know, now we have Kangen water. Now, what this is this is going to go down. We'll give it a second here. But this is going to show a negative. Now, this shows that it has an anti-oxidizing quality to it. And it's going down here, and it will soon switch over to negative. And there it is, negative 72, and climbing the opposite way. So it's anti-oxidizing the body, anti-aging the body, negative 150 and climbing. So, you know, for the lack of time here, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the pH.
Okay.
So this is antioxidants. This is showing that this water coming from your tap, which was just positive 300, is now negative 200. Okay?
So that
and
particular
climbing.
system changed.
Correct. It changed the properties of the water. Correct.
That's
Correct.
amazing.
And how it does that is through a process called electrolysis. It's just 7 platinum-covered titanium medical-grade plates. And now metal, what happens when you plug it? This machine plugs in, so it's not just filtration. So, you know, when you plug it in, it sends electricity to those plates, and then the water brushes past and picks up that electricity and bonds to its opposing magnetic charge, okay, because water has a charge. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next step here. And so we're going to use what is to measure pH, which is potential hydrogen, this active hydrogen which this water has. And we're going to move on. We're just going to show where each of these liquids stand. We're going to put some drops in each of these, and you can see that it's not a magic trick, that you know, the drops are red, but you know, these are what they truly are, because we have others that are changing different colors here.
Different colors,
And so what we're going to do is we're going to show you how this water, in terms of pH, how you can balance the body. And that's a very important aspect of this water, because again, like I said before, we're born alkaline, and then as we age and as we eat harmful things and drink harmful things, as you can see over here, that it's pulling us into acidity. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the scale here. So you can see that these liquids up here in front of us are acidic. So we have Sprite, which is very acidic, and we're looking at the top chart here, not the bottom. The bottom is chlorine. So we're looking over here at orange, and soda over here is very orange. It's acidic, as are the rest of the liquids. Gatorade, yellowish orange, Perrier, yellow, Propel, orange, Aquafina, even orange, Dasani, yellow. So we're in acidity here. And then you go to the tap water. This is the lye that she had mentioned earlier, the LYE, the high potent alkaline chemical that they put
sodium hydroxide.
Yes, into the water in order to bring up the alkalinity. So by regular government regulation, the water in your tap is going to be neutral to slightly alkaline per regulation. And then we have Kangen water out here, which is the star of the show, really, and what everyone in the world should be drinking to aid their body and balance their immune system, is very alkaline. So as you can see, this is sort of like a tug of war. From 0 to 14, we have 7 being neutral, right where we're born, and then this is the water that we would ideally want to drink, given the foods that most people, the foods and liquids that we're consuming on the market. Okay, I'm going to show you how to balance your body simply with this water by, all I have is extra Kangen water. It's not this color, it's not the pH, it has no pH drops in it or anything like that, it's just clear. And to show you that, I'll just drink some. It's got nothing in it other than just water coming from the machine. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the tap water and show how easy it is if you're drinking tap water and then you switch to this water, how easy it would be to balance your body. See how it turned alkaline?
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes. Then we'll go to Dasani, alkaline, okay? And then we'll go to Aquafina. It's going to turn it alkaline. Just with a little bit of this water, it's going to reverse the properties. Propel, doesn't matter how much water I put in this Propel, it's not going to be able to balance what the negative effects of that Propel.
Jeez.
Okay, we're going to go to Perrier here. Now San Pellegrino, all that, you see that blue, that it tried to turn color, but it fought back. Okay, it's too acidic to actually turn it and balance the body. Okay, so any amount of Kangen water, it's going to be very difficult, probably up in the 30 glasses of high alkaline water in order to balance something that has carbonation. Okay, we'll go to Gatorade here. It's not going to balance at all.
Jeez.
Okay, then we're going to go to sodas, which Gatorade and sodas, they're very similar. They have a lot of sugars in them. Sugar turns directly. So if you're an athlete and you're drinking Gatorade, or any sports drink, you need to shelve that. Just because the professional athletes are promoting it and stuff doesn't mean that it's actually good for your body. It's actually doing damage, and you're more probably apt to get an injury as a result of drinking it while you're doing some sport activity. So this is it's more of the same water.
Yeah.
I'm going to pour it in the soda here and just fill this up, because then I'm going to show you how detrimental soda and sports drinks and energy drinks are for the body. Now I'm going to simply just come over here and, with a little bit of diluted soda, how it destroys
Oh my gosh.
the benefits of the Kangen water, okay?
Look at that.
And so we're just putting a little bit in here. And so
look at
the pure Kangen water. Look, it just destroys it.
it.
So if I encourage you, if you're drinking soda, sports drinks, Perrier, anything carbonated, I encourage you to switch to something that is not. Drink water with cucumber, drink it with lemon, drink it with, put fruits in the water to make it taste better if that's what you need. But please, I encourage you to cut out these carbonated things. It'll help you with your health and wellness quite a bit. Okay, so that is sort of an example of how you can balance your body with pH. Now I'm going to show you the third property of the water, which is its structuralized quality and its microclustered ability. And how we're going to do that is we're going to simply make tea in cold water. Okay, so I've got tap water here, and so I'm going to put tap water in the first cup and the third cup. And then I'm going to put our water that comes from the machine in the second cup and the fourth cup. Now, I'm going to take this tea bag. This is just green tea. It's a green tea that we drink at home, Yamamoto. And I'm going to simulate making tea, okay? Now this is in cold water. You're thinking, well, you can't make tea in cold water. But so here I am trying to make and simulate making tea in cold water, okay? It's not working. We know that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the Kangen water.
Look at that.
And it makes tea instantly. And why that is because it's penetrating the bag. The smaller molecular clusters are penetrating the bag like they do our cells, our cell membranes. Okay?
Look at that.
Now I'm going to go back to, you think it's a magic show, I'm going to go back to tap water.
Nothing. Nothing.
No tea. Okay? Going to go back to cold Kangen water, and again we have tea. Now I can make 29 cups of cold water tea with one bag. That's just astounding. When I saw this, athletes, this is what you should be drinking. If you want to, prevent muscle tears, pulls, strains, all of that stuff, you need to be hydrated. Hydration around the ligaments is very, very important, okay, and muscles. So the next thing that I'm going to show you here is a couple different properties of the water that this machine makes that are other than the drinking, okay, because it makes 7 different types of water. And what that is it makes a high alkaline and a high acidic, or a low acidic water, in addition to the high alkaline benefits of the 8.5 pH, the 9, the 9.5 that you drink. And what that is, I'm just going to sit this tea right over here and pull these closer to me here, is we're going to show you the cleaning benefits of what kind of water this machine. So in all of your cleaning products, most of the cleaning products that degrease and do all these things are high pH, high alkaline, high base pH chemicals. And what we're going to show you today is that these, I'm just going to go ahead and put some tomatoes in here, and I'll tell you why in a moment.
I was going to say, why are you doing this?
Tell you why in a moment. But we've got about the same amount in there. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and put some of our high alkaline pH water in one of the cups. And I keep it in a dark container because air, temperature, and movement break down the properties of any liquid. Okay? So with this, you basically want to
use Aquafina.
Let's see, and I'm going to put some tap water like we simulate cleaning tomatoes at home. And so I'm just going to let those soak for a moment. And the reason we use high alkaline chemicals to clean in the home is because they break down grease and stains and dirt and such. So, but I'm going to show you today how with just water that comes from your tap through this device that you can actually clean in your home. Okay, so what I'm going to do to simulate that is I'm going to take the sesame oil and I'm going to pour it in the bottom of this cup. And I'm going to simulate. So when water and oil, when we mix water and oil, what happens?
It's supposed to separate.
This is, yes, it separates. So you probably can't see this very well, but it's separated. Okay.
Water and oil don't mix.
Yes.
No.
Water and oil don't mix.
Exactly.
That's what we usually
that's a principle.
think about, right? And that's what we're taught in school. However, if you use a high pH, high alkaline water, it's milky.
Wow.
It emulsified.
It emulsified instantly.
Oh my gosh.
So, you know, basically, you can clean your home null and void of chemicals. Simply, I mean, we've lifted stains out of clothes. We have degreased our stove, our range. We can put this water in our dishwasher. We can put this water in our washing with, washing our clothes. So, you know, it's very, very powerful. But, you know, one of the other properties that most of us don't think about is cleaning the oil-based pesticides off of our fruits and vegetables. Now, pesticides on our fruits and vegetables are neurotoxins. Okay, so they are going to do quite a bit of free radical damage in our body. Okay, much like the oxidation does from these liquids. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how, mix these up a little bit. We're cleaning, yay. You know, most of us clean our fruits and vegetables in tap water.
Yes.
you know, I used to do it myself. You know, you wash them off, you think you're doing, you know, a great job, scrub them, blah, blah, blah. You know, but if you look here, what we're going to do is pour these into, this is the tap water, very clear. And then we have our water, which takes off.
Wow.
I see all sorts of things floating around in there.
Some really,
but it's also yellow.
yes.
You know, we do berries at home. We do leafy greens. You wouldn't believe the things that come off of these, off of the produce.
Yes, I would.
I mean, you know, when you wash it in normal tap water, you're getting the dirt and the heavy dirt, and when you scrub it off, but you're not getting the oil-based pesticides, the wax that they put on them to make them all look, you know, really nice and you know, so that we want to buy them, basically. They have to travel a lot of distance, so they're trying to preserve that fruit or vegetable for you as long as possible.
Right.
And so, you know, when it gets to us, not only is it old, you know, so, you know, you should probably buy more local and more, you know, with null and void of pesticides and spray. But, you know, if you are buying from, you know, one of the big box stores, you know, the most important thing is to be able to clean it. So, you know, I would say usually we do a taste test with this, and I don't know if Michelle's probably not down for doing a taste test today.
I am not doing
so,
a taste test
yes,
with
but
tomatoes.
usually, and we can do this for anybody. You know, it is not a science. It is not a magic trick. You just try the different tomatoes, and you could try. You could see for yourself the difference. So that's pretty much what we got. So, you know, the device is really, really good. Again, it's a medical device. I think everyone in the world should be drinking it. So.
Well, if we've got a few minutes left, but this was an amazing demonstration, and it made me a believer, because I'm not moved by marketing hype.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not how I'm trained to think. I look at data, I look at the analysis, and I was very blessed early in my career. One of my mentors, Dr. Shasky, was a medical practitioner under Mr. Truman's administration, and he was sent to Japan to set up all of their health clinics after World War II in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. There was much radiation damage. And he is the one that told me about this. But it was not in the United States.
No.
So as a result, I was boiling water and doing everything to make sure that myself and my children had clean water, because I was utterly paranoid about what they did to, quote, provide the American public with clean, so-called clean water. He is now deceased, but he turned Japan into an extremely healthy, conscientious population that is outliving all of us. Even when they smoke cigarettes, they're still outliving everybody, because their water has been charged, and they are avoiding foods that cause acid. They don't do a lot of red meat and chemically processed food. So they live longer and they live healthier.
Right.
Because I'm challenged too. I mean, I'm 61. Who wants to live long and be sick?
I want to look like you.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, you look like this by being very attentive to what you put inside you and also what you put on you. So I try to live that out, and I try to encourage other people. But I so appreciate your willingness to openly share about this, because I have a deep and compassionate love for the American people.
As do we.
We all, yeah, and humanity as a whole. I want everybody to do well. I want them to love their children, see their grandchildren, and even their great-grandchildren. I want them to be healthy. I don't want them to have cancer. And cancer loves acid.
That's right.
Cancer loves acid. You want to see a cancer grow, start feeding that puppy acid.
Right.
Foods, sugar, salt, just whack it. And cancer will certainly show up.
That's right.
And be a monster to deal with, all because we did not know. I believe the American people will if we knew better.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
that's the role that you and Jasna play as molecular hydration specialists. You educate people to a better way, starting with
That's right.
water. And I just applaud both of you for your willingness to step out here. Although this is becoming more and more popular in the United States.
It is.
I mean, it's wonderful what I'm seeing happening in terms of media and PR. What is your website?
Our website is freshkangen.com.
Okay.
And we also have two URLs. We go under freshkangen.com. We also go under Kangen awareness because we want to spread the awareness of how, and all Kangen means is return to origin. Okay, so we want to return to origin, like when we were babies. We want to be young, the fountain of youth. We're always searching for the fountain of youth.
Yes.
So,
but it starts with your water.
That's correct.
And I'm increasingly concerned that as this world system proceeds on with the pollutants, with the violation of the laws of nature, with regard to animals and health and water and food, we're going to see, unless people make a conscious decision to choose to live.
Yeah.
Not as a game, not as a marketing hype, but choose to live, if no more than because you love yourself and you honor God. Choose to live.
That's right.
And I think it really does begin with our becoming aware of all the things you said. And I am going to speak to one of my children because they are Gatorade lovers. She was a soccer player, and she loved, she was fierce goalie. And to know that this is as acidic, I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's
And
unfortunate.
athletes are the very people that do not need to have that going on.
That's right.
That is what is going on. Their athletic directors should be spanked because they don't know.
They just don't know.
They don't know.
They just don't know.
But you know what? Information is here today. Internet is here today. And we have an opportunity to become aware.
That's right.
And to be able to make those decisions for ourselves and our families. Right. You know, I still say, Tomas and Jasna, that the Mayans did get it right when they said that December the 21st was the end of the world, and we were looking for things to blow up. But I said it was the end of that old world thinking and that old world system where people are shaking out of their slumber and recognizing that there is another way, a better way, that we can take responsibility for our decisions. We can choose freedom.
That's right.
We can choose not to be blind and in bondage. And we can choose to live. And that is amazing.
Yes. Yes.
It is.
Pure abundance.
It is pure abundance. Do y'all have any closing remarks?
I would say that I believe that the easiest way to take control of your health is the first step of starting to drink water, the right kind of water, so that you can take the first step of getting healthy and be on the way to longevity and have a longer, healthier life.
Well, you look absolutely beautiful.
Thank you, Michelle.
You're
you
welcome.
as well.
Okay. And what about you?
I would just say that, it all starts with your table. You have, instead of thinking of it as so just think of it like this. If you just add more good things onto your table,
yes,
eventually the bad things will just fall off.
Yay!
So, add one at a time,
Yay!
and then one will just fall off. So don't think of it as subtracting things from your life.
Yes.
Just think of it as adding good things to your life.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
So
as we conclude today's segment of The Power of Money, first let me exhort you to drink daily half of your body weight. So if you weigh 160, that's 80 ounces of water, which is 10 glasses of water today, every day. 2 in the morning, first thing out the bed, drink 2 glasses of that healthy alkaline water. Before you eat your meals, half an hour to an hour before, drink water. And half an hour afterwards, drink water. Do that 3 times a day. And again, recognize that all water is not created equal. Put sodas, pops, all that other stuff, put that on your X list. which is we don't do that anymore. And for those of you that are addicted to soda, and yes, you would be because of the industrial chemicals that are in your soda that make it fizz and do all kinds of interesting things. You will go through some level of discomfort as you begin to change those patterns because your body does become addicted to that. Yes, it's a very serious thing. But you can make those changes if you choose to. And I encourage you to live excitingly, live abundantly, live with conscious direction. And on that note, I'll close out today's amazing segment on the power of money. See you next week. Don't forget to watch us on YouTube, Michelle Graves, The Power of Money. And I wish you a God-blessed day. Good day.